Check out the deer. Yep. Pretty good. There's another deer in the middle of the, a few of them in the middle here. Some venison sausages, you know? Venison sausages go well. My old man does some good venison sausages, bit of pork fat and venison. Beautiful. Venison's very lean, so you need a bit of, you know, fat. So, you know, sometimes you just get like pork fat, whatever fat you want to use. Chuck that in there. Bit of herbs, spices. Deer everywhere. But look at this view. My backyard, you know what I mean? Got some nice acreage. Got the escarpment all through here that I absolutely love looking at. They say when it rains, I haven't seen it yet when it rains, but when it rains you get like waterfalls all coming off the cliffs. So that'd be cool. And then you still got the lake and ocean views. So there's a lake and the ocean behind it. Anyway, enough of that. What we will do is take us inside to my new man cave slash bar studio. It's going to be the studio for now on. We're going to do UFC 305 picks, breakdown of it all. Let's go. Alright, so this is a new little spot, maybe for a little bit. So cool little backdrop, I think. Just got cleaned up quickly. Now we're going to do UFC 305 picks. We'll start off with I think it's going to be the first fight of the, I was going to say night, but it's the first fight of the early morning over there in Perth. Very, very early over there. I think it may be the early prelims, maybe them fights before the early prelims, which is going to be at like 5 o'clock in the morning, maybe even earlier. But anyway, so we'll go. So anyway, so it's a very, very early day over there in Perth. Jack Jenkins, Herbert Burns. So this one's, there's a lot of Aussies and New Zealanders on this card. So I wonder if there's going to be a little bit of a bias, right? So let's see if the bias gets in the way of my picks. We'll see. Obviously, I'm backing all my guys, you know what I mean? I'm going to back them. I know they put the work in, and I'm backing them the whole way. But let's get into it, let's break them down. Jack Jenkins and Herbert Burns. Look, Jack Jenkins, he's coming off his injury, his last one. Obviously, he injured his arm. I'm pretty sure that was the last one. He hasn't been back since. He would want to bounce back. He's a good fighter, obviously a very good fighter, very confident fighter. And what I mean that is, like, he backs himself. He's confident, he's composed, he sees what's happening in front of him. Great striking, grappling, and wrestling. Very well-rounded. So I think that's going to be enough. Herbert Burns, obviously a dangerous opponent, but I think Jack Jenkins is going to do enough to get the win on this one. How do I see him getting the win? You know, he likes his leg kicks. Could he get a leg kick? He's actually finished a few fights with some leg kicks. Could he get the finish? I've got a feeling it's going to be a decision. I've got a feeling it might be a decision. So let's just go with the pick. We'll just go with Jack Jenkins winning.
He's heavy favourite, by the way. He's paying $1.70.
Jack Jenkins is. All right, Burns is paying $4. Well, you know, Burns coming in at a late notice as well. Jack Jenkins, obviously a highly touted prospect. He's coming, remember, he hurt his arm in the last one. He was looking great before that. So you can see why he's still the favourite. He's a hard man to beat. Like I said, he's very well-rounded. So that's going to go a long way in a fight like this. So heavy favourite, deservedly so. So next fight. All right, Josh Culibao, Ricardo, Ramos. Josh Culibao do a bit of training with Josh, good dude. Now a dad as well. I think he's already fought as a dad, but you're obviously going to get a different type of hunger when you're a father. Early on, it can definitely, obviously there might be more sleepless nights and all that sort of stuff, but I'm sure he's got all of that under control now, you know what I mean? The little one's probably getting at a good age where he's getting some good sleep, good recovery, ready to go out there and perform in Perth. Look, every time we fight in Oz, especially in Perth last time, everyone turns up. So I've got a feeling all the Aussies and New Zealanders, the Anzacs are going to turn up. So that's why I'm going to back all of them. So I'm going to go with Josh Culibao. Ramos, obviously a good fighter. It's going to be a tough fight, but I'm going to back Josh Culibao. I think, again, he's comfortable everywhere. He's pretty well-rounded. If Ramos tries to take him down, I think his takedown defense is going to be sweet. If he wants to even wrestle as well, he's got a wrestling himself, Culibao. So Kuya. I'm probably butchering that. Sorry, Josh. But Kuya. Yeah, so I'm going to go with Kuya to get the win on that one. How? He's just going to win. Yeah, they're going to turn up. Everyone's turning up in Perth. All the Oz, all the Anzacs are turning up and going to get the win. But again, no bias whatsoever. No bias. All right, next one. Casey O'Neill. Obviously another fellow, Australian. Well, she's, dad, old man, like they own Eternal and that. I'll shout out to Eternal as well, actually. They're fighting, got a couple of the boys. Seb is fighting and Justin Van Heerden fighting a few. That's actually cracker card that they got. So a little shout out to Eternal. I'll be over there. Hopefully I can get to the event and watch the boys fight. A couple of big fights for the boys at the gym. Justin and Seb. Seb fighting for the title. 5-rounder. Great fighter, so keep an eye on him. Sebastian, yeah, he's a solid fighter. Justin as well. So let's get into this. Casey, why I bring that up, sorry, is because Casey's the old man. He's one of the owners of Eternal. And Scottish. So Scottish, he's like full Scottish. Casey, anyway, no bias, but Casey's going to get the win. I think she's underdog too.
She is.
She's underdog, which, yeah, it's good. I think Casey's always a good underdog. She's hard worker, so she, you see her really get stuck into the gym. Got a lot of mongrel in her, which is all the right stuff. Especially is always going to make it a tough fight for anybody when they face her. So she's going to have that ticker, and she's got the skills to back it up. I'm seeing an improvement in her striking, and then she's always had very good wrestling, grappling. So I'm going to back Casey O'Neill on this one. And yeah, she's underdog, so there's a good underdog there. And I think how's she going to win? I think she could get. Her submissions are good. Even if she was up against other girls with good jiu-jitsu, I still would back her because of her work ethic and scrambling, and she's good at finding the right positions. They're good at her scrambling into good dominant positions. So it could be a submission there. But let's go Casey O'Neill for the win. Tom Nolan, Alex Reyes. So Tom Nolan, he's coming off a win. I didn't get to watch it. I think it might have been a decision win, his last one, maybe. Obviously, before that, he ended up getting finished. But the fights before that got early stoppages. Did he have I know he fought on Dana White Contender Series. And then he might have fought afterwards. He got 2 quick knockouts, maybe. I know he got a quick knockout and was very impressive on Dana White Contender Series. And this is the case. The beautiful thing about Dana White Contender Series is you can blow up. And he did great. Got a nice finish. Looked incredible. A lot of buzz, a lot of hype, a lot of backing. I think he might have went in and fought, and the same thing happened. Goes out, obviously very aggressive to really, play on that hype. I think he might have got another, correct me if I'm wrong, if he got another one, or am I just talking about the Dana White Contender Series? But then he come back and was very aggressive again. I seen him being very aggressive. I'm like trying to, in my head, I'm like, chill out. Like, I know you want to ride that wave, but let's, when you're looking for it too much, it can, it can sometimes be harder to find the finish and obviously leave openings. And then he ended up getting tagged. So I felt like he left himself a little open. I'm sure he would agree. I think on his last fight, he touched on that, he would come in really aggressive and all that. And I noticed it while I was fighting. I was like, man, I even said as soon as I went back to the gym, I was a bit disappointed. Obviously, I'm always backing the Aussies. And I'm like, man, he just was, obviously want to be real aggressive. Obviously had a lot of hype, wanted to keep that rolling on. Like, I get finishes, look what happens. We need to roll that, keep that going, you know what I mean? And again, good way to be, but you need to sort of balance that out a little bit. So, he's a great fighter and a finisher anyway. So I don't think he actually needs to try so hard. But yeah, so I feel like that's why that loss maybe happened. That played into maybe him getting finished there. I think he come back and got a win. And now fighting in Perth in Australia, I think he's gonna play it a little bit. Look, so he's very dangerous when he's a little aggressive. But if he's pulling himself back a little bit and then got the Perth crowd, we might have this, sort of a perfect sort of level of adrenaline, buzz, fire that will get him a finish. So I am going to go with Tom Nolan for the finish on this one. So I'm backing him to win and I'm going him for the finish. What's he paying?
$1.08.
Oh, $1.08.
Yeah, and the Reyes is paying $7.50.
Oh wow, okay, so massive favourite. So let's go the KO. So we're going to go with the finish in this one. Again, $1.08 is, you ain't getting nothing out of that. So finish, I don't know what finish that's going to be. You know what? I might even say first round finish. First round finish, I might go with Tom Nolan. Obviously, I'm going to go pick him to win. But so you can get some value in your money, first round. I think he's going to go in. I think, early in the night, I think these guys are going to step up. And we're going to have another epic day or morning of fights in Perth like last time. Last time it was an absolute buzz, the whole card. And I feel like that's going to happen again. And it starts with these guys, and I feel like Tom Nolan might get that first round finish. So again, you got to try and find the value. There's no value in $1.08. So let's go for the finish. First round finish. Next one. Tafa, Walker. Tafa, again in Perth. As I said, everyone steps up, especially home crowd. I feel like, especially the Tafa boys, when they're fighting at home, there's usually a big knockout. And they're usually, anyway, most of the time, they're usually on the giving end, not the receiving end. Obviously, everyone's going to have their times, but I feel like this time is going to be another big win for the Tafas. I feel like he's going to get a finish as well. What's he paying?
$1.94 and Walker's $1.86.
So he's the underdog a little bit. Yeah, so he's a slight underdog. Yeah, so like, obviously he's a really good striker, heavy hands. So he's going to want to keep it on the feet. And again, I feel like he might find the finish on this one as well. But I'm going to go with Junior Tafa for the win. Tuivasa, Bam Bam, and Rozenstruik. This is going to be a cracker. Both strikers, both have heavy hands, both very dangerous. Who's the favourite?
Rozenstruik, $1.53. Bam Bam's paying $2.40.
Bam Bam paying $2.40. Home crowd against a striker. I like them odds. Again, Rozenstruik is an incredible striker. I think he did a lot of kickboxing even before UFC. So he's no easy fight, but I mean, I feel like Tuivasa is going to come out and land a finish. I think he can get the finish. I think he can get the big KO finish. He's due for one. So I'm going to go Bam Bam. Again, everyone loves Bam Bam, and another way to keep this big day of fights in Perth rolling is a big Bam Bam knockout and shoey afterwards. So let's hope that happens, and I'm backing it to happen. I think it will be finish. I think that fight ends up being a finish anyway. So, but I will back Bam Bam on that one. Again, solid opponent, tough guy, but the fact that it's a striker, I think that does favour Bam Bam. Very dangerous on the feet. You know, he did. His last fight was Volkov. So Volkov very, very long and was able to do a good job on the outside. You know, I don't think that's Rozenstruik's game. You know, Rozenstruik's going to not really play that long anyway. So I feel like Bam Bam's going to be able to find hands. So I definitely think it's going to be a finish, and I've got Bam Bam for the finish. All right, Gamrot and Hooker. So Gamrot is obviously going to be coming for them takedowns. Very, very heavy wrestler, grappler. Look, Dan Hooker's hard to take down. Dan Hooker is no joke when it comes to wrestling defense and then submissions as you're trying to take him down. So obviously, again, I'm always backing my boys. But I mean, you've seen the work that Dan Hooker can do.
Of course,
Like, and I swear, even the last times I'm training with him, obviously his last fight was great as well. He's still got it, mate. And when I watch him in the gym, I feel we just did a thing. He's 10 years in the UFC. 10 years in the UFC, and I think he looks better probably now than he did before. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, so the last time I trained with him, he was looking good. And then you've seen his fight with Jalen Turner. What a great fight that was. And now you've got a guy that's going to be a heavy wrestler, grappler. Last time Dan Hooker faced someone like that, it was Islam Makhachev. Remember, short notice, and I feel Islam's a little more trickier with his takedowns and sneaking control, that little bit better control and wrapping things up. And where I feel like Gamrot's going to be more aggressive with the wrestling. Obviously, still great grappler. I'm not knocking him. I mean, he's a great wrestler. I just feel like Dan Hooker can do enough to make that hard for Gamrot to get the takedowns. And if he does, he could be put in danger with the submissions. And Dan Hooker has got incredible timing for the takedown defense. But as you're coming in, if you're going to be a very, very heavy shooter, you better hope you get on top of him early, because if you keep shooting aggressively, Dan Hooker's going to wrap. He's a finisher. He's going to find something. He's going to wrap your neck up, or he's going to get an uppercut. He's going to time a knee. You've seen some big finishes like that from Dan Hooker. You could see something like that this time. 3 rounds, I'm pretty sure this is. Again, incredible fight. I think Gamrot's going to definitely try and look for the takedown. I think he might find it hard. Dan Hooker might find the finish here. So who's the favourite? Gamrot would be.
$1.40 for Gamrot.
Yeah, what's Dan paying?
$2.90.
$2.90, and then for a finish as well. I'm backing a finish here as well. I think he finishes him. It could be even in the earlier rounds. Honestly, I feel like he's going to find the finish early. Big victory for Dan if he does. This puts him right in title contentions. You know, look, it's crazy when you just see the story. He's had 10 years in it, like the highs and lows through it, and then he's right back in this position now, beating Jalen Turner now. Gamrot, who's like, I think Gamrot's like probably almost next in line. I guarantee you, Gamrot's 5, is he?
Yeah.
What, am I missing something? Did I miss a loss from him? Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's it. So Jalen Turner was his last loss. Obviously a very close fight. That was, it's controversial in every close fight, they say. But I mean, yeah, so other than that, if that didn't happen, he's probably getting a title shot. So he's still right up there. Any win from these two guys, they're up there. And I feel like this puts him back up there as well, Dan Hooker. And the fact that, who else is there at lightweight besides Arman? Justin Gaethje obviously lost his chance, and Max Holloway obviously could be up there as well, but he's doing the featherweight. But yeah, Dan Hooker. I'm backing Dan Hooker on this one. I think Dan Hooker could get a finish in the early 2 rounds. I think he might be getting a finish. It could be a submission or a TKO though. He's very good with his submissions and very good with his timing as you're coming in. So I'm backing a finish. I'm not confident in saying which finish, but I am more confident in a finish from Dan Hooker rather than a decision win. I think he gets a finish in the early rounds. So Kai Kara-France and Steve Erceg. So I know both guys, obviously very close with Kai Kara-France. And as I say, I'm always backing the locals, the Anzacs. But now I have to choose between the two. Obviously very close with Kai Kara-France. Training partner, seeing the work he puts in the gym, had a big break. So let's see how that is, right? Steve Erceg has been quite active. This is Kai's first fight back for a long time. I think he had a concussion in the Cape fight, leading into the Cape fight, and had a big break. This could have been very refreshing. Obviously, myself at freestyle and that, but the boys at City Kickboxing, we train really hard and all year round. And he had a bit of a break, so that could have been probably maybe a good thing for him. Having a bit of a break, bit of a chill, and then having a nice big camp. He knew about this fight a long time ago, so he's been in camp getting ready for it. I knew he would be fighting on this card a long time ago. He was looking at getting on a card even before that, so he started picking it up. So he's had plenty of training before the fight, and I think, you know, maybe we see a better version of Kai. You know, could Kai be a little run down, you know, from these title fights and big fights that he was having? You know, he was active as well. Having this big break, we might see a different Kai right now. We might see the Kai that was, you know, finishing so many fights earlier on. But Steve Erceg, tough dude, very well-rounded as well. They're both very well-rounded. Wrestling-wise, I think they both cancel each other out on the wrestling and grappling. Steve Erceg obviously likes to wrestle and grappling, but Kai's going to be too hard. He's very good on the wall. His takedown defense is very solid. So this one's going to be on the feet, I believe. And then you've got two good strikers. You've got more of a tidy striker in, when I say tidy, I mean more boxing sort of style from Steve Erceg. Likes his hands, he will throw other things as well. But I just mean tidy, where, you know, the straighter punches and, you know, 1-2s, hooks, like where with Kai is going to be, you know, a bit more level changing, overhands, hooks, you know, bridging a couple of unorthodox sort of strikes, step over punches. Not that tidy, very well fundamentally sound boxing like Steve Erceg's probably going to have. So two completely different strikers. Going to be very interesting. I think it's going to be very, you know, crucial for Kai to have his, you know, looks and movement, and, you know, make it hard for Steve Erceg to try and time him coming in, because Steve Erzeg's got a good eye. And Steve Erzeg's going to have some good defense as well. So this is going to be an incredible fight. But who am I backing? Obviously, I'm going to go with long-time friend, trainer partner, Kai Kara-France. Tough fight though. This one's a very tough fight. I can see them being very competitive on the feet. Who's favourite, actually? Steve Erceg would be. How much?
Erceg's paying $1.40.
Yep.
And Kai's paying $2.86.
Kai at $2.86. So there you go. There's another reason why I'll pick Kai. Kai's going to be underdog. Having such a big layoff, that's probably why he's a bit of an underdog. Yeah, the value's in Kai Kara-France as well. I think it's going to be very competitive, but you've got Kai Kara-France who's obviously always a solid fighter. He's always going to be a good fighter, very top contender. He's always going to be up there while he's fighting, for sure. He will always be one of the top dogs. So this is a very interesting fight, but I'm going to go with Kara France. I don't think it's going to be a finish though. 3 rounds for these two tough guys that are, very good and smart as well. I think it's going to be hard to see a finish. All right, now main event. Dricus, Du-Plesis and Israel Adesanya. So this is a main event that we've all been waiting for. This was something that was always going to happen, even if they didn't have belts. No one had the belts. This was still going to happen. But now Dricus is a champion. They get to go and fight in Perth. So the Aussies and New Zealanders, the Anzacs get, someone from our region fighting, which is good, which I'm glad. Big fight too, so it's going to be a big fight. I think they got the Anzac, they got the Springboks. I don't know if the Springboks, rugby union, are playing in Perth the night before. So you're going to probably have a lot of South Africans and all that. So you're going to have, let's see how the crowd is. Obviously the Aussies, they're not going to let an opportunity in Australia go away, so I'm sure they would have jumped on the tickets nice and quick. Same as the New Zealanders, a lot of them would have flew over for this. So it's going to be epic crowd. It's going to be buzzing in there. I'm expecting a performance from Israel Adesanya, like a proper performance, like how you've seen the Paulo Costa's performance,
Because now he's got Costa's attention so much. Oh! Again. Oh!
A fight like that where he goes out and just does it in impressive fashion. Only because I think, he's always going to have them skills. And there's going to be something there that I feel like, I just feel like, because Dricus is very awkward, very unorthodox. He's got an awkward pressure, which is very, very hard for people to deal with. And we've seen, obviously, an awkward pressure from Strickland give Izzy problems, but that doesn't happen to Izzy twice. There's no way that fight looks the same. Izzy's going to have a completely different adjustment, a completely different game, and he's going to capitalise. Obviously, 2 completely different styles in Strickland and Dricus. But what I mean, the awkward, unpredictable sort of style that Dricus is going to give, I don't feel like Izzy's going to be surprised. I think Izzy might have been a little bit surprised with the pressure and the defensive pressure from Strickland, but I don't think there's any surprises this time. I think he's expecting, an awkward fighter to be coming, putting the pressure on him, and I think he's going to be ready to capitalise on that. And that's what I mean by getting a finish. I mean, like you coming in doing all this sort of stuff and him just doing his freakish sort of stuff, leaning back, boom, boom, sort of, like a Rob Whittaker type finish while he's, you shouldn't be in positions like this and knocking people out. That's just how good he is, and I think that guy turns up. UFC 305 main event. I think Israel Adesanya is going to put on that type of performance where he goes out and gets a crazy finish, and that's saying something because Dricus is no joke. Dricus is very strong. Wrestler, grappler, so Izzy's going to have to obviously be careful of Dricus trying to take him down because I reckon he's going to have that freakish strength. And I think he's got good dasses and good chokes as well. So you're going to have to be careful of that. But Izzy's obviously got great takedown defense. So I think it would be hard to take Izzy down. I think his angles, range and all that's going to be on point. And when you start over committing to try and cut him off or try and, put that pressure on to even look for the takedowns or to punch your way into takedowns, I feel like something big's coming. I mean, big finish. I mean, highlight reel Izzy that we've seen.
Oh, damn goodness.
That type of finish that we're going to see from Izzy. So, which is going to be huge, which just puts him, obviously he's always been a superstar, just puts him right back where he was not that long ago. He had a good break, took a bit away, chilled out. I think that would have been great for him. Again, we train hard. He trains very hard. The boys over there at City Kickbox train very hard all year round. He was very consistent in there, very active. So maybe this break is going to bring the best version of Israel that we see. Are we going to get a walkout, a crazy walkout? I don't even know.
Oh my God, the dead man has arrived.
But looking forward to it. I'm going to be there, ringside. Cannot wait. I am buzzing for this. I was lucky enough to go to Manchester and now get to go to another UFC event. I haven't been to one before Manchester, I haven't been to one for ages. But it was great to be a part of the whole UFC family and a part of the fans and all that as well. They're always great, and it's always great in Perth as well. So I'm sure the fans are going to be a treat to deal with while we're over there. So can't wait to see you all there. Enjoy some fights, and as you can see, no bias when it comes to picks with Volk and when the Aussies and New Zealanders are fighting. No bias.
I think Izzy's the only favourite you took.
Izzy's the only favourite. All right, no, the first one, Fajak. So Izzy's favourite. Oh wow, I didn't know that.